I feel like this is crooked. I'm not sure if this is crooked. I really hope this is not crooked. If I say crooked one more time, crooked. Sakpasimente, welcome to my universe. Welcome back to my universe. Oh, whoa. So I know it has been like a fat ass minute. I'm not going to talk about the freaking virus because everybody's talking about the freaking virus. I don't want to talk about the freaking virus. I think about it. I watch the stuff. I'm following it. I'm tired of it. I'm grateful. I will say this, like, even when you count your losses, count your blessings. Always, always, always count your blessings. I feel like in this time, damn it, I said I wasn't going to talk about the virus, and I'm about to talk about the virus. Just real quick, I want to say, like, in this time, there's so much uncertainty. There's so much fear. There's so much anxiety. There's so much, like, what if? There's a lot of, like, oh, what did I do? Who did I touch? I feel like you got to keep your faith. Remember who you serve. Remember to put your trust in the Almighty and the universe. Has the universe let you down? Some might say yes, but has the universe come through for you? I think more of you would say yes, because you've all been through so many things. Everybody has been through something that they probably didn't expect to overcome. This is something that you may not expect to overcome because you can't see how. You know, you're looking at our leadership and you're like, okay. You're like, I don't know how we're about to get through this shit. But trust and believe you will and you can. I personally believe that we are going to be all right. I think we're going to be more than all right. I think that this is a time to slow down. It's crazy that it took a freaking global pandemic for people to finally spend more time with their children, to claim their sons. No tea, no shade. But it's like, damn, I didn't even mean for that to come out, but it did. I'm not gonna chop it out. I feel like it's a shame, you know? It's a shame that it takes the threat of losing everything that you love or everything that you've ever known for people to turn around and be like, hey, are you good? Like, hey, it's been a minute since I've spoken to you. It's been a minute, like, since I've seen you in person. Like, let's get together after the quarantine. You know, it's a shame that it takes something as tragic and devastating as this damn virus for people to appreciate one another. And it's not like everybody's on that page. You got motherfuckers out here buying guns. You got people out here suiting up like they're ready to to create a new task force or something in place in case all of the police officers like decide to just strike and never work again, or until we're done quarantining. Who knows? But I gotta say, like, keep your faith. Keep your faith. Remember the other things that you have gone through. I know for me, I was like almost a year ago, literally, like if you go back to the video, I'm about to be homeless, y'all. That's like almost 360 days old, that video. Literally around this time last year, I was going through it and I did not know how I was going to get out of that situation. I was like, Lord, you going to have to take me now. It's a wrap with a bow on top. I am done. And I felt like that for a while. I felt like that like throughout the summer of 2019. It wasn't really until like the fall and into the winter that I got like, I don't even know if it's confidence, but I just got like a sense of tranquility. Like all of a sudden I felt like I could breathe again. I feel like it's going to be a while before we feel like we can breathe again, sit next to each other, talk to one another, actually make eye contact with one another. Like, things are going to change for sure, but I feel like we're going to be okay. You have to trust and you have to believe that everything that you see on the media, like, take it with a grain of salt. Like, people are being selective about what they want you to see, and that's going to mess with your psyche. That messes with your sense of peace. So you have to be careful with what you consume, how much you consume it, what you pay attention to, and just appreciate one another. Like, be grateful for what you have and who you have. I know for me, like, if I had like a little dog right now or something that I could play with, that would be pretty cool. But I do have like friends, so I'm good there, you know. feel like if you have like siblings, if you have family members or people in your house, like go play musical chairs, go do something. You know, try to like take your mind off of what hurts and try to find some joy. Like choose to find joy. Choose to find something to laugh about. I know for me, I put a lot of stuff on pause. I started to lose motivation, hence my absence. And it's just because I felt like yo, like we're in the book of Revelations, for real. Like maybe I should just halt, you know, like halt. Maybe I should just put a pause on everything that I wanted to do and that I was like low-key working on. And it didn't make sense to me after a while, because I'm like, no, the last thing I want to do is just sit here, you know, like just erode like a damn vegetable. Like I don't want to just sit here. I want to like continue to live. Like come on now, you could find out that you have the virus. You could start experiencing symptoms tomorrow. You could find out that the clock is ticking. Although like 70-something% of people have been recovering, I read. So like, again, people are being selective about what they want you to see. Even if you get the virus, there is a chance that you could fight it off if you take care of yourself, if your body is strong, if you get them vitamins, your Irish sea moss, spirulina. I'm just saying, like, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Appreciate your time. Take advantage of this time. Start a passion project. Work on your passion projects. But like, keep your head up. Keep your spirits high. With that being said, I'm going to transition because this is already so long. And I started my stopwatch like 7 minutes ago. And I'm just rambling. And the lights get up. Slow motion, I freeze, you watch me, sample me, reduce me to somebody, give me, no don't you, just nod your head, don't try to change it, I said what I said, hit you with a playback, I said what I said, look what I did. So I'm going to tell you two stories. Dos historias. I'm going to tell you about the time I was dress coded at school and the time I was dress coded at work. Now, I'm not going to tell you them in the same video because I know that's going to be long. So this one would just be the time that I was dress coded at school. And I'm just going to say this. From now on, I'm going to try to get to like the moral of my stories. So I'm going to tell you what happened and then I'm going to tell you the takeaway. Because oftentimes when I sit down in front of my camera, it is a therapy session for me. I don't know about you on the other side of the lens, but for me, wait, on the other side of the lens, I think I meant on the other side of the screen. But yeah, I don't know about you, but for me, like, it's very therapeutic when I just sit here and ramble and say the things that I typically don't feel comfortable saying to other people because I don't want them to like consume my anxiety or my nervousness about life and about, you know, certain things that I peep. Or maybe I don't want them to think that I'm like sad or to get concerned because I have these like thoughts in my head. Not that they're disturbing, but I just be thinking real deep about life. Like I really think critically about life, deeply and critically. I just be sitting there like, you know. And sometimes I get the vibe that people don't really want to hear all that because some people are just more like surface level. They don't want to hear all that shit. So I like to sit here and I like to say all that stuff. And yeah, I talk a lot. I know that. That's why I'm sitting here. That's why I'm sitting here instead of like on the phone with somebody right now. So in circling back to the damn story. I was in 8th grade. I was 13 turning 14 when this happened, or maybe I would, yeah, probably 13. In 8th grade, I was still living with my parents. I had not emancipated myself or met my legal guardian yet. We were not necessarily like a well-off family by any means. I don't want to say we were poor, but we were. Like, we didn't have very much. And my dad had recently gotten a credit card. My 8th grade graduation was coming up, and I just got like a story idea for that because some stuff went down as well. But My dad had a card and he allowed me to use his card to purchase a dress for my graduation. I purchased a...
Rebuke it, God, rebuke it. Not today, Satan. Not today.
Anywho, so my dad allowed me to use his card and I purchased my very own and my very first dress. Now, me not knowing anything about dresses, me not knowing anything about like sizing, how things are gonna fit, I just saw this bodycon dress. I didn't even know what a bodycon dress was. I looked at other bodycon dresses. I did notice that they fit the girls, but I didn't think it at the time of how it would fit me. I have had a little bit of like body dysmorphia, if you will, where I had no idea like what my figure was. I was looking at myself in like the little mirror that has like a little cabinet behind it where you put toiletries and stuff. Most of the time, like, I didn't really have like body length mirrors to look at myself in. Therefore, I didn't have a concept of my curves as I started to go through puberty and develop. So I ordered the bodycon dress. It comes in the mail. My sisters are like, yeah, you're not wearing that to graduation like you thought. So they're like, yeah, try again. I didn't get to order a different dress, I don't think. I think I just wore something else and like kept my gown on the entire time at graduation. But that's beside the point. As for the dress, I decided, well, since I can't wear it to graduation, I might as well just wear it to school one day. Now, based on the way that my sisters responded to the dress, I figured my mom would have like a similar response and a more aggressive one if she saw me in that dress trying to go to school. Even though I didn't think there was anything wrong with the dress, I just decided like let me wear it and let me put some stockings on to try to change her mind. She saw me on the way out and she was like,
Oh, Issa, where are you going with the dress? Issa, what are you wearing?
but I told her like, oh, we have to dress up, or like, I just told her like something like, I have to wear this basically, like I have to. And she was just like, okay, whatever. Somewhere in between getting to school and or leaving home and going to school, I took off my leggings. They weren't stockings, they were thick leggings. I walk up to the school building, I walk inside, and instantly I spot the actual principal and one of the assistant principals. We had two assistant principals, a white woman and a black woman. The white woman was standing next to the white principal. They're both women. I walked in at the like right time because the bell rang, and that was like the 5-minute bell to get to class. So there's like a rush of students coming in at the same time, as well as the students who were already like downstairs in the lobby mingling. So I walk in like, oh yeah, they're not gonna see me and stuff. So I like head to the stairs because in my mind I'm like, let me get upstairs and let me pull my dress down, like let me adjust myself. Or so I thought. So I walk inside. The assistant principal and the actual principal are like, oh no, oh no, 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 no. They see me and I hear them, oh no, oh no, no, and I'm like, shit. Because I didn't even make it to first period, bro. I didn't even make it to first period. I went up the stairs and I was holding I would stand up, but I'm not wearing a dress right now. Maybe I'll try one on. But I'm holding the dress down, like pulling it down as I'm walking up the stairs, and just because there's like a whole like row of students behind me, or not row, but line of students behind me. So I'm pulling my dress down. As I'm walking up the stairs, I go to the bathroom. Or actually, no, let me pause. So I get to the top of the staircase, and there is this man who is facing the opposite, like his back is to me, sort of. He's at an angle, and he's talking to a student. He sees me out of the corner of his eye, right? And he's like, oh my God, just like that. And I'm like, really? Like, because I knew as soon as he said that my cover, which was compromised already, had been blown completely at that moment. This man shouted, "Oh my God." And I'm like, oh, frick. He turns to me, he sees me in the dress. I'm like mortified. I go to the bathroom, which was right there at the top of the staircase, like after the bank of lockers. And I'm in the stall. I'm like hyperventilating, like, you know, like, you know, hyperventilating because I already know it's a wrap with a bow on top for your girl. So this girl walks in, and I knew her, but I didn't talk to her like that. She's like, "Star, such and such, the assistant principal, is outside looking for you." And I asked her, I just said, "Okay, real quick, do you think that this outfit is inappropriate?" And she was like, "No, I don't think it's inappropriate, but I think you're gonna get dress coded." And I was just like, "Okay, thank you very much. Like, thank you." And then I asked her, you know, if I had like too much like color on my cheeks or whatever. And yeah, so I finally, like, I adjust. I'm like, okay. And I walk outside, and literally the assistant principal is like, "How dare you? You should be ashamed of yourself. Do you have any idea what you're wearing? How dare," like, going off on me over and over again. "You should be ashamed of yourself. How dare you walk outside your house like that?" And there's a whole crowd of students behind, or not behind me, behind her. The science teacher, my science teacher, is standing right there, like off at a distance, like he doesn't want me to notice him, even though I know the girl in the bathroom told me later on that he's the one who told her I went to the bathroom. And I'm just standing there, like, feeling like really, really embarrassed, really mortified, but also upset because I didn't feel like what I was wearing warranted that kind of response. I didn't feel like I was dressed inappropriately. And yet, here was this woman shaming me and embarrassing me in front of all these kids. Now it continues because she tells me to go downstairs. She tells me that I need to change into my PE uniform. That's how they dress code you. But she says I need to go to the office first so they can write me up. I'm like, okay. So I follow her. Mind you, I don't say anything. Like, she's yelling at me. I just stand there. I'm, you know, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because I feel so attacked, and I felt like, okay, you know, if you say so, what can I say in that moment? That she's made up her mind, that I'm disgusting, I should be ashamed, whatever. So I follow her downstairs, and she goes into it's like there's an office full of offices that has the main office, assistant principal offices, etc. She goes into that room, disappears for some time. The actual principal comes out. This woman had the audacity to look me in my face and tell me I should be ashamed of myself. And I was just like, okay, wait a minute. Because when old girl, the other woman, the assistant principal, is trying to tell me about myself, I'm like, whatever. You know, she over there turning pink and red in the face and whatever. She's really upset, like I'm her daughter or something. You, on the other hand, you come out here stone cold in the face, and literally the principal looks me up and down like this. "You should be ashamed of yourself for walking out the house looking like that." And word in the school, and like word in the hallways, is that this woman's daughter was a stripper. Like, one of not our, but one of my classmates found the assistant, or not the assistant, the principal's daughter's Instagram page back when, like, Instagram was first being introduced or trickling down to us in middle school. She found the Instagram page, told other people about it. I didn't have a cell phone or an Instagram, but I had heard about it pictures were circulating, etc., etc. So I'm like, you are standing here shaming me, telling me I should be ashamed of myself. What did you as a woman, what did you as a mother instill in your daughter to make her think that she needed to go get on a pole for validation? What did you teach her about being a woman that she found herself on a pole, shaking her ass for money, shaking her ass for attention, shaking her ass for validation? I didn't say stripping was bad. I didn't say stripping isn't or pole dancing, or is in itself, pole dancing is an art, is a dance, etc., etc. But that culture of you being in a club, bending it over, ass crack open, etc., etc., ya tu sabe, like, what did you instill in your daughter that that's where she found herself? You know what I mean? Like, because I've never heard of most girls starting there saying, oh, I aspire to be a stripper. Most girls don't start there. But what do you teach them about their value? What do you reduce them to that they find themselves in the club, bending it over, busting it open, ya tu sabe, etc., etc., etc. So before you come into my face and tell me that I need to be ashamed because of what I have on, girl, go check yourself and go check your daughter. Go check your relationship with your daughter. I felt like, girl, don't you dare. With the first lady, I was like, whatever. Because I don't know much about her. She was the new assistant principal on the block. This woman right here, I also don't know much about you, but get out of my face with that. I felt so attacked at that point. Then after they write me up, they send me to the school psychiatrist. And I was like, okay, they're pushing it. But because I knew that didn't make sense. But because, let me scratch that. No. Can't make that mistake. But because, since I knew the school psychiatrist, like, she was my homie, because I got transferred to this school a year prior to this happening in 8th grade. She was the person I confided in when those girls were bullying me, when these boys were bullying me, when stuff was going down. I went to this woman who, like, happened to be from, like, the same place my parents were from. So I confided in her, not regularly, but at some point. So I wasn't so bummed about having to go see her, but I was irritated with the messaging that she left me with, which was she told me that what I was wearing, she saw what I was wearing. She told me that the reason I was dress coded is because I can't wear something like that which is going to provoke the male teachers, or not which is going to, which will provoke the male teachers. She told me that young girls can't wear stuff like that to school. You have to fall in line with the stuff. And she's like, I know, I was your age, I was a young girl, I wanted to wear stuff like that, I wanted to wear tank tops and what have you, but it's inappropriate for school, it's inappropriate for the male teachers to see that. And what I took issue with was, whether she really believed this or not, I just took issue with the notion that I am somehow in control or somehow responsible for what grown men decide to do, or how they physically respond to me based on what I it's like, what? I couldn't even finish the sentence because I'm like, wait a minute. So if I wear a dress, I'm going to provoke the male teachers. So in order for everybody to get through the school day, I'm not allowed to wear something that I like because of how it's going to affect dude over there. I'm like, wait, what about, where's the accountability? Where does the responsibility for dude over there to keep himself in line lie? If the onus of responsibility is put on me, the girl who just wants to wear a dress. I didn't appreciate that, and I didn't understand it then, but I didn't challenge it then. I didn't question it then, because not one, not two, but now 3 women have already told me there's something wrong with what I was wearing. Now, and let me tell you real quick, because the reason I didn't even say what I was wearing is because it doesn't really matter, but I will say I was wearing a long sleeve black dress that came right above my knees. The thing is it was fitted. it was fitted, and I guess how it looked on me compared to the average girl in middle school. I'm not bodacious Becky or nothing like that, but the average girl in our school was flat chested and flat backed. I'm just being honest, like smooth as a board back there and up here. And I had just started to develop like the summer before. So, and I knew that there was a difference because of the things that the boys said to me sometimes that made me feel uncomfortable. Like, okay, the developments are noticeable. And yeah, so I was wearing the bodycon dress. It was fitted. It showed that I had been developed, I guess, but it wasn't like it was a low neck or nothing. It was a crew neck. It was some really like average, like Mary from the Catholic Church from around the block, and it was so simple to me, but I guess the way it fit me was just too much. I don't know. But she told me that it was inappropriate. She told me that I was provoking the male teachers, and that stuck with me because nobody told my science teacher to respond like that. For him to look at me and be like, "Oh my God," I'm like, "You're doing too much, sir. I'm sorry. You need to calm down. You need to calm down. You're doing way too much." Like, have you never seen somebody in a dress before? Like, you got kids, you got a wife. I'm sure you've pursued someone that was very appealing to you physically. Cut that shit out. There was no reason for all of that. And for him to go point to tell her where I was and everything, I just felt like that it was all bizarre to me, honestly. Like, even now I'm feeling the type of way because I'm like, there was no reason for all of that. For me to go see the school psychiatrist, I can't even like, for me to go see the school psychiatrist, like, really, I didn't appreciate the messaging she left me with. It's not on me as the young girl to control the physical response of these men. I think that if you're going to, and this is a school that's been in the news, this is a school that has banned leggings because these girls used to be walking around with no drawers on, used to be walking around with no panties on, with their leggings and their ass out. I mean, like I said, but they would be walking around with like a lot of just stuff showing because the stuff was thin, we could see everything, and yeah, the school has banned leggings and stuff, and I feel like if you're going to do this, honestly, if you're going to restrict girls from wearing stuff, then let's have an honest conversation with these young girls about the real, because I think that the real reason they don't want girls to wear dresses and skirts and spaghetti straps is because it's not safe for us to. A woman's body is not something that boys are taught to respect. They don't inherently have a respect for, and I'm not saying all boys are pedophiles and all boys are taught or groomed to be rapists, but I definitely don't think that all boys are taught to understand or to respect and see a woman's natural body as something that is ordinary, as something that is just a part of life. And so you have to shelter these boys and cover up and put on like fucking Madame Gooseware in order to protect them. And I'm like, well, we are not here for them. We don't exist on this world, on this planet for them. We're not here for these boys to be protected, and then when they're ready, then we can unveil ourselves. What the fuck is that? I'm sorry. No. Let's have an honest conversation, a real conversation about why girls can't wear dresses and skirts. It's because it's not safe. It's because that girl may not make it home from the ice cream shop in the summertime if she's got on a damn what is the dresses, sundresses. Oh Lord, oh no. And that's the real shame. We can't really dress the way that we want to without that fear, that anxiety. You can do it, but that anxiety for some of us is there. Fortunately, there are some girls who have never been taken advantage of, who have never been sexually assaulted, and they have never been sexually harassed. Kudos to y'all out there. But for the rest of us who have been violated, who have been verbally harassed and stuff, and who have grown up in environments where this is a part of a culture, these dudes stand on the block and look at 12-year-old girls, 17-year-old girls as if they're fresh meat. I'm speaking from experience. And when it comes to that kind of culture, when you are somebody who has to get on the bus, who has to get in and out of taxis, cabs, Ubers, whatever, then you kind of don't want to gamble with your life. You will reduce yourself to, you know, the turtlenecks and everything like that, the modest stuff, just to play safe, even though the reality is, you know, that that doesn't make you exempt. I was violated when I was 5 years old. You think that had anything to do with what I was wearing? No, it didn't. But unfortunately, like, growing up, being a young girl who is, you know, developing, who is just growing, who is evolving, I can't stand that there is this one area where I do hold back, and that is how I dress. And it's because I don't want the attention. I want to just be able to get to and from without being bothered, without people hollering at me or doing too much, because I don't have control over how you respond to me. I can only control what I do. And that is the real issue. All these years later, being dress coded and stuff, that culture amongst men has not changed. Not all men, but too many of them will co-sign or be the actual perpetrators. You know, I can recall being 12 years old and a man not caring and just like, oh, hey, da, da, like, girl, like, bye. I'm sorry, bye. But they don't care. There's something that's off. And when these young boys are growing up, y'all gotta nip that shit in the bud, because your daughters are not safe. And that's why your school is banning leggings. That's why she can't wear shorts with her little cutlet cheeks hanging out. That's why. It's because it's not safe for us to. That's the real concern. That's the real issue. And people don't want to tell their daughters that because they don't want to talk about rape culture. They don't want to talk to their daughters about the fact that 1 out of 3 of them will be violated in their lifetime. Almost, I would say everybody knows somebody who's been violated. Everybody. Everybody who knows me knows somebody who's been violated. So just imagine that. It's too common. It's too tucked under the rug because of how uncomfortable it is. But for those of you who don't want to talk about it, who are uncomfortable, imagine how uncomfortable the person who had to lay down and take it feels. Imagine how comfortable it is for that person. It doesn't make it any better when people act like it's not a reality, because the trauma, that traumatic energy stays with you for much longer than the actual incident does. Again, 5 years old, and I'm all these years later, come on now. It stays with you. It's not something that you really get to forget about. You have to work through it over time. And hopefully, you know, it'll be something that just fades to the back of your mind. But until then, tiptoeing around rape culture and then restricting girls, depriving them of the ability to just be, to express themselves, it's not right. Why do boys get to just be when they're growing up? They get to be free, they get to be loud, they get to be dirty and rambunctious, obnoxious, you know, uncontained, uncomposed. But then girls have to be very, you know, they have to be petite, they have to shrivel up into nothingness, they have to be quiet, keep their head down, don't make eye contact, they have to serve, they have to be gentle. And it starts very early on, as if they're, Lord have mercy, let me stop. Let me stop. Because it frustrates me tremendously. I'm over it. And as you could tell, like, I didn't take being dress coded too well. I did change into my clothes. Somebody did say, you know, like, something smart to me, like, oh, like, girl, why would you wear something like that? But that's a part of the conditioning. When you got other women or other girls looking around at each other, like, you should have known that if you wore that, then such and such will happen. It's part of the conditioning and the normalizing of the abuse and the attack on female bodies, on women's bodies. And it starts with young girls, actually, which is the utter shame of it all. But yes, I guess I will pick up in the next video where I tell you about the time I was dress coded at work. Yes, that was like my second time being dress coded. And I have to say, like, I never thought it was going to happen to me again, so I was very surprised. But stay tuned for video numero 2. Ta-ta, take care.